Born on February 4th, 1965 in Lincoln, Nebraska, Michael J. Saylor's journey began in the heart of America. Once just another tech entrepreneur, Saylor has since become one of the most relentless advocates for Bitcoin, a man who bet everything on digital revolution and never looked back. But how did he get here? What led him from the MIT classroom to Wall Street's most polarizing Bitcoin advocate? Let's dive into it. His childhood was far from ordinary. As the son of an Air Force veteran, he spent much of his early life moving from base to base, growing up in a world full of structure, discipline, and constant change. This nomadic upbringing shaped him into an adaptable, forward-thinking individual. By the early 1980s, Saylor's sharp mind earned him an Air Force ROTC scholarship to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where he pursued studies in aeronautics and astronautics. What was his dream at the time? To become a fighter pilot. Fate, however, had other plans. A medical condition that to this day still remains unknown grounded his ambitions in aviation, forcing him to reconsider his path. But instead of giving up, Saylor redirected his analytical mind to computer simulations and business intelligence. In 1989, with an MIT education and a hunger for innovation, Saylor co-funded MicroStrategy alongside his college friend Sanju Bansal. Their goal was simple: harness the power of data analytics to help businesses make better decisions. The company started small, but a major break came in 1992 when McDonald's hired them to develop software that could analyze consumer behavior and optimize promotions. This put MicroStrategy in a spotlight, and by the late 1990s, it became a major player in business intelligence, making Saylor a billionaire, at least on paper. At the peak of dot-com bubble in 2000, Michael Saylor was worth $7 billion, but the crash that followed hit hard. MicroStrategy's stock plummeted 99% in a single day after an accounting scandal forced the company to restate its financials. The SEC came knocking, and Saylor lost his billionaire status overnight. Instead of walking away, Saylor doubled down on MicroStrategy, determined to rebuild the company he had spent a decade creating. His strategy to recover involved three key moves. Rather than chasing the hype of the internet boom, MicroStrategy shifted back to its core strength, enterprise analytics software. Saylor realized that while the internet was chasing business, the data was still king. MicroStrategy continued refining its data analytic products, focusing on helping companies make smarter decisions with larger data sets. Also, to survive, MicroStrategy had to tighten its belt. The company underwent significant cost-cutting measures, reducing unnecessary spending and restructuring operations to become more efficient. Saylor also took a massive pay cut, signaling to employees and investors that he was willing to sacrifice personally to keep the company afloat. Lastly, by the late 2000s, a new digital revolution was emerging: mobile technology and cloud computing. Saylor recognized this trend early and pivoted MicroStrategy into mobile intelligence and cloud-based analytics. In 2010, MicroStrategy launched its first mobile business intelligence app, allowing companies to access their data analytics on iPhones and iPads. Additionally, Saylor invested heavily into cloud-based analytics, enabling companies to access data-driven insights without needing expensive on-premises infrastructure. And while his company continued to grow, he was also developing a new obsession, one that would change his life forever. By 2020, Michael Saylor was sitting at a company with $1 billion in cash reserves, but he had a problem. The world was changing, inflation was rising, central banks were printing money at an unpredictable rate. Holding cash felt like a slow death. So Saylor did what few CEOs dare to do. He bet the future of his company on Bitcoin. In August 2020, Saylor made history. MicroStrategy announced it was converting $250 million of its cash reserves into Bitcoin, becoming the first publicly traded company to adopt Bitcoin as a primary treasury reserve asset. Wall Street was stunned. Many investors thought he had lost his mind. Why would a software company put such a volatile asset on its balance sheet? But for Saylor, the decision wasn't about risk. It was about survival. When the initial move proved successful, he doubled down. By September 2020, MicroStrategy bought another $175 million worth of Bitcoin. Then in December, the company raised an additional $650 million in convertible debt to buy even more. By the end of 2021, MicroStrategy had accumulated over 120 Bitcoin, becoming the first publicly traded company to fully embrace Bitcoin as a treasury asset. Saylor wasn't just putting MicroStrategy money on the line. He he was putting his own wealth into Bitcoin as well. In October 2020, he personally bought 17,732 Bitcoin for $175 million using his own cash. He later explained that he sold his stock in MicroStrategy to make this purchase, proving that his conviction in Bitcoin wasn't just a corporate strategy, it was personal. As MicroStrategy continued to accumulate more Bitcoin throughout 2021 and 2022, the company's total holding grew to over 120 Bitcoin, worth billions of dollars. By then, MicroStrategy had transformed from a business intelligence company into a Bitcoin holding company, with its stock price rising and falling alongside Bitcoin's market movements. Currently, Michael personally holds 17,732 Bitcoin, and MicroStrategy holds approximately 499,096 Bitcoin, acquired at an average price of $66,384 per Bitcoin, totaling about $33.139 billion in investment, showing how committed he is investing in Bitcoin. He also holds more than USA's and China's governments combined, and at the time of recording this video, he is raising $500 million to buy even more Bitcoin. Some see him as a genius who recognized the future before others. Others view him as reckless, a risk taker who gambled everything on Bitcoin. But one thing is certain, Michael Saylor left his mark. His legacy is forever tied to its journey. This concludes today's video. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.